All right. So, guys, in the morning, before you get started, remember to say your personal affirmations. Make sure you speak those over yourself. Um, and then the next thing that you want to do is make sure that you go ahead and check out the news and see what's going on. So, let me go ahead and refresh, make sure that nothing has been added. Okay. All right, so 8:30 this morning, there are a couple of orange folders in CAD and USD. The orange folders don't have as much impact as a red folder. Uh, Orange folder mean use precaution, just be cautious. All right, now at 10 a.m. this morning, GBP and USD both have red folders. Red folders are a high impact, so if you are in a currency pair with a red folder or an orange folder, during that time, you want to make sure that it's still going in the direction that you want it to go in. So just be mindful of that. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at GBP USD. Let's see what it is doing. All right, so GBP USD is actually in a sale right now. That is on the 1 hour. What's the 15-minute doing? Okay, the 15-minute is actually switching over to a buy. So when I say that, what we're doing is we're actually looking at the alligator, and we see the green has crossed the red and it's approaching the blue. When the green crosses the red, we can actually go ahead and get into the trade. When it crosses the blue, that's when it's really where you want the sweet spot to be. Just make sure that alligator mouth is wide open. So we'll go ahead and take a look and see. All right, so the 15-minute just went to a buy. The hour is in a sale. The 4 hour is also in a sale, and I'll bring this down so that you're able to see it better. It's in a sale, so you can see the green has crossed the red in a downward momentum, so that is a sale. And the daily is all right, the daily is in a buy with that pullback right there. So the overall trend of the market is that it is actually in a sale. So when we see that and the trend is your friend, okay? So you want to make sure that you're going with the trend of the market. So when we see this right here that's pulled back and it's turned and it's going into a buy, because we know the trend of the market is in a sale, then we know that this is actually pullback. Don't be afraid of the pullback, just be aware of the pullback, because anytime you get into a trade, you will experience pullback. So what you can do when you see that a trade is in pullback and you know the trend of the market is in a sale, you can actually set a pending order or place this on your watch list. Okay, so anytime you come to the trading, you want to make sure that you have pencil and paper so that you're able to keep up with your watch list pairs, so that you know which ones you want to go back and take a look at. All right, let's go ahead and go over to GBP, JPY. Let's take a look and see. It's doing the same thing. The green has crossed the red into a buy, and this is on the 15-minute. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on in the market. The 1 hour is in a sale. The 4 hour is kind of going sideways. Now remember, the market has 3 directions: up, down, and sideways. So when this alligator mouth is closed, this is what we call the alligator. Those 3 lines, green, red, and blue, that's the alligator. When that alligator mouth is closed, we do not eat. So if the alligator is not eating, we do not eat. We wait till that alligator mouth is open. So on the 4 hour, it's actually shifting. It's going sideways. And that's because the candles are a little confused. You've got wicks coming out of both ends. So you want to give it some time to come out of whatever it is that it's doing right now. The daily is in a buy. So because that GBP is a little confused, that's not something that we want to get in, because it can actually change at any moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at our GBP CAD. Let's take a look and see what that one is doing. Okay, again, we do have some more confused candles. And when I say confused candles, What I'm speaking about is you've got these candles that have the wick coming out of both ends. Okay, so what's happened is it has come all the way down here for a sale, and then it's gone all the way back up for a buy. And that's what you're seeing when you see the wicks coming out of both ends. That means the price has been doing this, going up and down in that one particular candle. So it's confused. It doesn't know which direction it wants to go in. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on in the market. The 1 hour is in a sale. The 4 hour is also in a sale. Okay, again, you can see the green has crossed the red and it has crossed the blue. So that is a definite good sign. Now, it hasn't completed its downward momentum yet, but we can see that it's going into the downward momentum, going into the sale because of that crossover there. And let's take a look at the daily. All right, the daily is in a buy with pullback. So right now, the trend of the market is that it is in a sale. So again, we can know that this right here is actually pullback. Now, if I were to come down here to the bottom, where these are the date and times that coincide with the each candle above, if I come down here and I move that over, guys, you can actually see, because we use Heikin-Ashi candles, you can actually see that it has been in a steady downtrend. So the trend of the market is actually in a sale, and it's going to experience pullback. Again, don't be afraid of the pullback. Just understand that it does exist. All right. So again, this is experiencing some pullback. So you can lay down your support and resistance lines and get an idea of where it may go, where it may visit, and then you would be able to put in a pending order. Okay. So this is another one that you can watch or set it up for a pending order. So we may come back and do that, but let's go ahead and take a look at EUR USD, try to see if we can find something we can get into the market. All right, we see that the EUR USD is in a buy, a nice strong buy here. The green has crossed the red and the blue, so we see that alligator mouth is starting to open up. Let's see, the 1 hour is in a sale, but it's pulling back, turning into a buy. Look at the alligator starting to turn. Okay, the 4 hour is in a sale. And I'm going to bring that down a little bit so that you're able to see. Got the green has crossed the red and the blue. Alligator mouth is open. It's in a sale, but it does have a little pullback. But that candle looks like it's getting ready to change anyway. All right, and then the daily. The daily actually has a little confusion going on. So it's in a buy, but those candles are really confused. So let's see. We've got the 4 hour in a sale. We've got the hour in a sale. So this 15-minute, when we see that it is crossed over into a buy, we know that that's pullback because the trend of the market is a buy. Remember, the trend is your friend. Now, what happens is you want to make sure that you take a look at your stochastic. Okay, when it's up above the 80, that's when it is overbought and it will be ready to sell. So be prepared for that pullback and just take a look at the stochastic. The stochastic tells a story. So whatever happens in the stochastic, that's where it's going to happen first. And then that way you'll start seeing what's going on with the candles. They'll start changing for you. Okay, so let's see. So like we said, we know that this is, the trend is a sale and it's in pullback right now. So we can wait for it to turn around and make its descent back down into a downward momentum, and that way we can get into it for a sale, or we can set up a pending order. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at AUD USD. Now this one, okay, remember I said 3 directions of the market: up, down, and sideways. This is actually going sideways. So that alligator mouth is not open. This isn't one that we would want to look at or get into actually until it actually makes its determinant and decision for the direction it's going to actually go in. So let's see what the market is doing. Okay, the 1 hour is in a sale. The 4 hour is also in a sale. And the daily is in a buy, but it's in strong pullbacks, getting ready to make its turn. Okay, so that lets us know. And again, I can come down here, pull this back so you guys can see more of those trend candles and see the downward momentum, see the trend that it has actually been on for quite some time. Again, it has been experiencing pullback, and then it continues on its way down into the sale. So the trend is your friend. It is in a sale. So we know that that is what we want to look into as far as getting into a trade. All right, so for the NZD USD, also going sideways. Let's see. All right, the 1 hour is also looking a little sideways. Stretch that out some. Yeah, those candles are starting to get confused. Okay, but it's going down into a buy. What's that 4 hour doing? 4 hour is in a buy, but it's making its turn into a sale. And bring this down so that you guys can see that the daily is actually in a buy. So with these doing this, okay, you've got the 4 hour, it was in a buy, but it is making its turn. So you want to wait for it to complete its decision in what direction it is actually going to go. Okay, so with that, with those candles going sideways, that's definitely not something that you want to get into at this moment. All right, we'll take a look at NZD CHF. All right, so it looks like it's a pretty nice sale. The alligator mouth is wide open. And the 1 hour is also in a sale. The green has just crossed the red and the blue. All right, the 4 hour, that was a nice strong buy that it was in, but it's got some pullback going on right now. And then the daily is a nice strong buy. So guys, the overall trend of the market is actually that it is in a buy, and you can see that from the candles, you know, from when I pull back. So the trend of the market is that it is in a buy, but it's turning. It's going into a sale right now, so that is pullback. Let's see. But because this alligator mouth is wide open, let's go ahead and see if we can get some support and resistance lines laid down and see if we can catch it before it makes its turn going back in the other direction. Okay, so the way that you want to do to lay down your support and resistance lines, you have two ways of doing that. You can either, you know, pull it back so that you're able to see more of your candles. And what you want to do is look at the wicks and see. Now you see when I move my cursor around on the screen, you can see the crosshairs moving. And you can use those as an eye reference going across. So let's see. Right there. So basically what I looked at is I can see that it's touched here. It's touched. Okay, so several times in this area, either it touched on the top of that line or it touched on the bottom of that line. And that's why it's considered and called a support and resistance line. Now, you can also turn it into a line. Now, what this is actually the moving average. You turn it from the candle into the moving average. So where those peaks are, that is actually going to be where it has met resistance and could not push through. So that is support and resistance. So what we can do is come, and again, you can still use the crosshairs so you can kind of see the areas where it has been touching. So right now we can see, because this dotted line right up under there, okay, if I were to take that support line away that I just laid down, you can see the current price is here, and you can see that dotted line. So when I lay down that support and resistance line, that let me know that the current price is actually sitting at a support and resistance line. Okay, so in order for it to continue into this sale, it would need to push through this support and resistance line here. So we're just going to lay down a couple of more just so that we can see. Get us some more areas here. Got that one. And I'll do one more because it can turn around. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn my candles back on so that I can see what my candles are doing, see the trend. And what we have done is we have created zones so that you're actually able to see where the candles are bouncing around in these support and resistance zones. Okay, so right now it is pushing through, it's trying to push through this support and resistance zone right here, and it's doing pretty good. So what I would do is set this up for a pending order, and I'm going to change the color of my line so that when I lay it down, it will make a difference. I can actually see. So we know, now you can see this candle here, right here in the middle, as well as this current candle. We know that it can come at least to here, which is what it's trying to do. So what I want it to do is I want it to get enough momentum to keep going and come here. If I grab my ruler and lay it on this line, come down to the next support and resistance line, that is 5.8 pips. Okay, so we've got a couple of options. Okay, we can go ahead and do our pending order. Okay, and let this be our take profit. Or you can go ahead and see. Make sure you guys, are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, you can now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I saw that my internet was unstable, so I'm glad that you guys are able to hear me now. Okay, so what we can do, that alligator mouth is wide open. So this is what we're going to do. We're actually going to go ahead and get into a market execution for a sale. And understand that the stochastic is down by the 20, but that alligator mouth looks really good. It is really wide open. So let's see if we can catch us a few pips. So that is the NZD CHF. What I'm going to do is go ahead and go to our MetaTrader 4. Let me make sure that you guys are able to see mine. Okay, we'll go to the MetaTrader 4 and pull up the, there we go, perfect. I want to make sure that. Okay. All right, we're going to pull up our currency pair that we're in, NZD CHF. Here we go, got one right here, NZD CHF. So I'm going to go ahead and do a market execution for a sale. I'm going to go new order. You want to make sure that your lot size is comparable for your account balance. Okay, so market execution is the type. I'm going to go ahead and say sell by market. Go ahead and get in. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my trading view, and I'm going to go ahead and take this one out because I'm not doing a pending order on it. We actually did a market execution. So I'll go ahead and take that away. But as you can see, it is heading towards this next support and resistance line. So we can actually go ahead and use that for our take profit. So pull back up the MetaTrader 4. Go ahead and slide that over so that I can see my candles on my trading view. I can see my number on my trading view. What I'm going to do is come to the line, my trading line where I have my trade running. I'm going to double click that line. The box is going to pop up. Now you want to make sure that the type says modify order. Okay. It can come up with market execution. You want to make sure that that's not what you're doing, because you're not trying to do another market execution. You want to do a modified order. So this way you can have your modified order box down here. You can change the information. All right, so I'm going to come over here to my take profit line. And this is going to be my take profit number. So I'm going to make sure that I press the decimal, I press the point, because if you don't, then this is what's going to happen. If you do 6, 1, 3, 5, this is not the same number, okay? Because this one has a decimal point in front. So if I hit the decimal point, it'll put my cursor right where I need it to be, so that I can put my price point in there, 61355. Okay, that is 0.61355 is the take profit. And then for our stop loss, okay, remember we look at our PSARs. So this is the first candle with the first PSAR right above it. Then you've got the second candle with the second PSAR. So what we would do is we would get a line, change that color so that you can see that it is a stop loss. Come down here and place it right above the first and second PSAR. So this price point right here is now going to be your stop loss. Okay, so when we enter our information into our stop loss, come over here. Don't forget to press your decimal point. 61563. So again, that is decimal point 61563. Come right here and say modify the order. All right, so let me bring my MetaTrader 4 over into view so that you guys can see it a little bit better. Now right here we have our candle countdown so that we know we've got 2 minutes before the next candle appears. Alligator is still looking very good, mouth wide open. And what I'm going to do is shrink down the price. Okay, so what I do is I come over all the way over to the price line, left click, and once I move my cursor up and down, that changes the size of the candles as well as the price points on the side. So you guys can actually see those numbers changing. All right, so I'm going to put it right there so that I can see my stop loss is right where I want it to be, right above my first and second PSAR. Okay, this is my entry point. This is where I got in. And this is my take profit. So if I hover over my take profit, I can actually see that that is 6.5 pips. So that's those 65 pips that you see right there, the decimal point isn't showing on there. So it's actually 6.5 pips. Okay, but based on your lot size that you get in for, it's going to determine exactly how much you'll actually be able to get from that. Now, another thing that I can do is I can hover over my stop loss line and see that that is 14.3 pips away from the entry point that I got in. And if it were to come back and hit the stop loss, it would take me out for only $94.22, and that way it would not break the bank. So you always want to make sure, no matter what, that you have your stop loss set. Anytime you set a trade, you always want to make sure that you do have your stop loss set. Okay, now you don't necessarily have to have a take profit, but what you can do is hover over your stop loss line. You right click, and then it's actually going to bring up an option for you to cancel your stop loss, for you to make modifications, for you to close it, or right here where it says trailing stop. If you select that, you come over here and you will see 15 points, 20 points, 25 points. Well, points and pips are a little different, okay? So pips convert to 1.5, okay? So 15 points is 1.5 pips. 20 points is 2 pips. So you can set your trailing stop loss, and what will happen is as your trade, as you can see, it's already running in profit. You've got 2.5 pips right now. So as your trade is running into profit, your price point is down here. You can actually have your stop loss move into profit, so that way, if it pulls back, it will actually take you out and close your trade in profit. You can manually move your stop loss. If you hover over it, left click, you can move it up and down. So if I wanted to, I could move it here, and that would actually close out in profit because it's within that, it's within the price point. It's right up under where I got in at. Okay, so that is an option. That is something that you can do. But again, the choice is yours. Whatever you decide to do, it is absolutely up to you. Now I'm going to raise this up a little bit so that you guys are able to see what my stochastic says down here. All right, so it's down below the lowest point. So it's down below the 16. It's still going down into a sale. But if you look over here, it says lowest point buy. So just be prepared, be ready that at any time it is oversold, so it can turn around and go into a buy. So you want to make sure that you are mindful of that and understand that if your trade starts turning back around and start turning, going in the opposite direction, that is why. Okay, if it's down here, it's oversold, so be prepared to buy. If it's up here, okay, this is the highest point, it's overbought, so be prepared to sell. All right, let's see, it is running. Now, actually, what we can go ahead and do, we can do a pending order. Excuse me, guys. I apologize. All right, we can do a pending order on this one because, guys, listen, here in the Billionaire Boss Empire, the strategy that we use, the PowerGator, it's simple, it's easy, and as long as the alligator mouth is open, guys, you can eat. So as long as the alligator is open and eating, we're eating. So this is why I said you don't have to set a take profit. You can actually just leave it open and just allow it to run, set your trailing stop loss, and that way it'll follow as it goes along. So let's see, we could do a pending stop loss on this one, but I just want to let this one keep running. Let's go ahead and go back to trading view. I did have one more currency pair that I wanted us to look at. Let me take a look at it. That was USD CHF. It's currently in a sale. 1 hour, okay, it's turning into a sale. You can see the alligator approaching that red. It hasn't crossed it yet, but it's getting ready to. The 4 hour, okay, it's in a buy, but it's pulling back into a sale. And the daily is in a sale, but let me stretch this out so you guys can see. Okay, but it's actually turning back into a buy. Okay, so the overall trend of the market is actually that it is in a buy. Let me stretch this back out so you guys can see. Pull that up so you guys can see the candles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to my date and timeline. Let's take a look at this trend. Okay, and it has actually been staying right in this area right here. So, and it's been there for a while. So let's see if we can lay down one more line, because that is a strong support and resistance area. Actually, where it's sitting right now, So if you take your eyes across, you can see where several candles have touched this particular line several times. So where it's sitting at a support and resistance. So if you were to, let's see, but like I said, it's been right in this zone, right in this zone. So with this one I would be a little skeptical about getting into for a continuation of a sale. Excuse me, give me one moment. All right, I apologize about that, guys. I had to get me something to drink there. Okay. But I would want this candle here to have enough momentum to push through before I would get into a sale, only because I'm looking at this pattern and it has been bouncing around within these two zones right here. It has not been able to push through. It has not been able to break through. It tried here and then turned around and came right back down. So now here it is, it's sitting. So I would want this candle to get enough momentum to push through before I would get into a trade. So you can certainly do a pending order. With a pending order, you don't have to worry about getting into a trade and then all of a sudden it turns around and then it may hit your stop loss. With a pending order, it's actually going to allow you to say, okay, this is where it should come. If it comes down here, it's going to keep going. Or if it goes up here, it's going to keep going. And then that's when I want to get into the trade. So, and with that, I'm speaking about the buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, and buy limit. So at that point, you say it's going to reach a certain price and it's going to continue on its journey as it's going in that buy pattern. Same with the sale. It's going to reach that certain price and it's going to continue on its journey into the sale with that downward momentum or the upward momentum. So that's a buy stop and a sale stop. The buy limit and the sell limit are just the opposite. The buy limit, it is in a buy, but I apologize. Excuse me. The buy limit, it is in a sale. Okay, so you see that the arrow's going down, but you say it's going to reach this price point and then it's going to turn around and go back in the opposite direction. Okay, the sale limit is just the opposite. It's in a buy. It's going to reach a certain price point, turn around and come back down into a sale. Okay, so these are the things that you want to think about when you are placing a pending order. Okay, because you're telling the system, this is when I want to get into the trade. So if you don't put in the correct buy stop, sell stop, buy limit, sell limit, your trade will not activate. Okay, because the numbers are not going to match for what it needs to be. All right, so let's go ahead and get back over to Trading View. Let's see, bring it up again. All right, that's where we want to be. Okay, so what I would want it to do is to come down here, get enough momentum to come down here. Because, I mean, look at the crosshairs, you can see that it has come down to at least here. So I would say even down to this next support and resistance line before getting in. And if it were to make it all the way down here, then surely it will continue on its way to go to that next support and resistance line. So that would be something that you would be able to do. All right, so let's go back to GBP USD. We had that on our watch list. And it is still going sideways. Yep, the 1 hour is, okay, has some really confused candles. It doesn't know what direction it wants to go in. What's that 4 hour doing? Okay, 4 hour has just crossed over Let me bring this down so that you can see what I'm seeing. That 4 hour has just crossed the green over that red. That green is approaching that blue down into a sale. And the daily, again, let me change this so you guys are able to see everything. Okay, the daily is in a buy, but it has some strong pullback right now with some confused candles. So we are going to let GBP USD just continue to sit and ride out. That is not one that I want to set up a pending order for. All right, what about GBP USD? Nope, still got a lot of confusion. Let's see, GBP CAD, which is GBP CAD. That's the Great British Pound versus the Canadian dollar. Let's see. All right, so it's in a buy. The green has crossed the red and the blue. So let's see. All right, the 1 hour is, you can see that alligator mouth is starting to make a turn. It's in a sale, but it's starting to make a turn into a buy because it's got strong pullback into the buy momentum. Okay, the 4 hour is in a sale, but see that candle right there? Getting ready to change. No, that doesn't have enough confluence to actually be able to say, yeah, let me go ahead and get into that one. So we're going to leave that alone. And let's see. Let's take a look. Okay. Just wanted to take a look at our NZD CHF. Okay. All right, so EUR USD. Oh, look, guys. Okay, we had the green cross the red, and it has now crossed the blue. So our alligator mouth is forming. It is opening up for us into that nice strong buy. Okay, the 1 hour is turning. It's got that pullback. It's turning into a buy. It's in a sale, but it's turning into a buy. All right, the 4 hour is in a sale, but it's got that pullback as well, that confused candle, which is what I'm looking at right here. Let's see. And the daily. All right. The daily is in a buy, but it's turning. It has those nice strong candles going in a downward momentum, so it's making a turn. So it's looking like it's setting up to go from a buy to a sale. So with that being said, look at that candle. Okay, we can't even, I wouldn't even want to. Now, although the green has crossed the red and the blue, guys, when you see a candle that has a wick coming out of both ends, again, that candle is confused. So it's going up, it's going down. The direction of that is not set yet. So you don't want to get in the middle of a trade when the candle has a wick coming out of both ends like that. You don't want to jump into a trade. Now, if you were already in the trade, okay, the green crossed the red on this candle right here. If you had gotten in and it started doing that, then that actually would have been okay. Because what would have happened is you would have been making money, it would have pulled back, it would have kept going, it would have pulled back, but it would not have taken you out. It just would have made your trade go up and down. But to enter a trade when the candle is confused and the price point is going up and down, that is not what you want to do, because that is not going to gain you any money. Oh, let's see. Thank you, Danielle. She said and it absolutely did. Our trade did hit take profit. Okay, The alligator mouth is still open. So guys, you can actually still get back in the trade if you want to. So it is, it is still has its downward momentum. The alligator mouth is still open. So guys, we are making money in the market. You go to account history, that will show you. So if you're in a trade and it has processed and it's no longer there, you can go to your account history and you can see your trade, and you'll actually be able to see exactly how much the profit hit for. Okay. All right, it is 5:46. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so you can actually see, but it's starting to slow down though. Look at the stochastic. The stochastic is starting to make its turn. It's down below the lowest point. It's starting to make its turn. All right, give me a moment. My computer's about to die. All right. Let's give it some juice and we'll be able to continue. And guys, this is another good thing about trading on the foreign exchange market. Guys, you can do it from anywhere. All you need is a laptop or your smartphone. Excuse me. And you can trade from anywhere. Anywhere in the world, you can trade and make money. You don't have to sit around at home. You don't have to be on a job. Guys, you can make money in the market from anywhere. Okay. Thank you so much, Danielle, for letting us know that that our take profit hit. Let's see. Oh, but you know what? This is what I wanted to tell you guys about this. Okay, so like I said, the alligator mouth is still wide open, but you do see that the candle is starting to slow down its momentum. So that's going to give you an indication that it could be getting ready to go into pullback or make a turn. So you can wait until after it gets out of pullback and continue on its way. So you could actually set this up for a pending order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my charts, to my chart tab, come down to where it says grid. And what that does is that puts the lines that coincide with the price points across. Okay. And then you can also see the lines going up to reference the date and times at the bottom. So that's what the grid pattern is forming. So this right here, this price point right here, if you look, you know it can come up, you know it's coming down to at least here. So I would say let this be the entry point. So let's go ahead and do a pending order on this so you can see how to do a pending order. All right, so we're going to go to new order. All right, we're not going to do a market execution this time. This time our type is going to be, select your drop down box and change it to pending order. Okay, so at the top is where you're going to set your information. Pending order is where you're going to tell it what you want it to do. So if you guys remember, we were talking about buy stop, sell stop, buy limit. This is where that comes in. Okay, so what we're looking for is a sale stop, because if you remember that picture, it said the price is going to get to a certain point and then it will continue on its journey. So we want a sale stop. And the price point that we want to enter, so the at price we want is this one right here. So let's go ahead, select that box and want point, make sure you're using your decimal point, 61395. Nope, I apologize. That's that was actually this number up here. It's already passed there. This one right here is the one that we want. So it's actually 61315. So again, that is 0.61315, and we'll go ahead and place our order. And then what we can do, and we see that our order is there, it's ready, it's waiting. So then what we can do is we can come back to our trade, double click it, and modify our order. So we're going to come here so we can go ahead and set our stop loss. And here's the first PSAR because it's right above that first candle. Here's the second PSAR because it's right above that second candle. So this price point right here, you guys see where that line is laying right above that second PSAR. The PSAR shows a reversal in the market that lets us know when the market actually switches and goes in the opposite direction. So we lay our stop loss above or below, depending on what direction it's going in. We use the second PSAR or the first PSAR because more than likely, if it does pull back, it is not going to go beyond that PSAR because that's the reversal in the market. What it'll do, it may get close to it and then it'll turn around and go on its way. The only way that it will continue is if the market reverses and then you get a PSAR that will show up on the other opposite end. So that means the market just reversed because that shows a reversal in the market. Okay, so again, we're going to use this price point right here for our stop loss. Okay, so we're going to put 0.61555. Again, that is 0.61555. And then we're going to come over here and tell it to modify our order. So now we have our trade sitting here ready to activate at this price point, and we've got our stop loss set. And you want to make sure when you have a pending order, you always want to make sure that you keep a check on your on the motion, on the movement. So as your candles continue to form and your PSARs continue to move down, you want to move your stop loss below the first or the second PSAR. You want to make sure it stays there. Because what that does is if something happens and your trade turns and goes in the opposite direction, then it will actually go ahead and take you out for not as much as before. Okay, so with that meaning, if I put my stop loss here, say for instance we got in around this area right here. Okay, so if this was the first PSAR and this was the second PSAR, then my stop loss, I'm going to move it, would have been, I would have placed it up here if this is when I got into my trade. If this is when I got into my trade, then this is where I would have set my PSAR. But as the trade continues, you see the candles forming and you see the different PSARs forming, and they're going down, down, down. If you never move your stop loss and the trade turns and it goes in the opposite direction, guys, this is what's going to happen. It'll hit your stop loss if it comes up here. But do you see how much? That is $296.36 that it would take your when it would hit your stop loss. But if you keep moving your stop loss as your PSARs move, you will see the price, it's not as high. You guys see that the price is coming down. And the reason behind that is because it's determined by the length of the pips away from when you enter the trade. So if we entering it down here, then you want to make sure that it's close enough. Okay, so I left click once I hover over it. I left click and I move it. I move it down. I make sure that it stays tight. Okay, so remember, make sure that your lot size is comparable to your account balance. so that you don't blow your account. And that is the purpose of having a stop loss. That is the purpose of making sure that you move your stop loss so that it's always behind the first or second PSAR. So should something happen and it spike in the opposite direction, then it won't blow your account balance. And here we want to make sure that you practice proper risk management. Okay, we do not recommend that you risk more than 3% of your account balance. So what you want to make sure that you're doing is you want to make sure that when you first start out, these are the lot sizes that you would be using. Okay, a 0.01 lot size is going to get you 10 cents per pip. 0.02 is going to get you 20 cents, so on and so forth. Now, although those lot sizes are small and the amount may be small, guys, that adds up. It adds up. So as you increase your account balance, then you can start increasing your lot size. So as you're able to increase your lot size, then your profit is going to be that much more. So that's the point. That is the goal, is to make sure you are increasing your account balance so that you can increase your lot size. Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's see, I'm going to come over here to the price point so I can move it. All right, now I want to know if you guys can see what I just did. I shrunk the price point until it was right at that line. I moved that line where I was able to get in, and then I can see another price point right here. So if I come over and get my crosshair, lay it on the line, left click, drag it down to this next one. All right, let me see. Actually, let me do that again because I was a little above. Okay, you want to lay it right on the line. There we go. Right on the line that you're going to get in on. When you hold that left click down and move it, when I go to this next price point, guys, I can see that it's 10.7 pips. Okay, so I know that when I set this price point right here as my take profit, I'm going to get 10.7 pips off of that. So I'm going to come back to my trade, double click, come to my take profit box, and I'm going to enter in my take profit, which is going to be this number right here, 0.61210. Again, that is 0.61210. And then I'll come over and say modify my order. All right. So now, I don't know if you guys noticed, it was a pending order. We didn't do a market execution. It was a pending order, but it has now activated. Once it reached our price point that we wanted to get into our trade, it activated. Now, this is something that I want you guys to understand. This box up here where you see sell and buy, this is the lowest point. This is the high point of the price point over here. Okay. When you are entering or exiting a trade, okay, you may have a take profit set, you may have a pending order set. Until both of those numbers reach that point, and let me go ahead and take the grid back off just to clean it up a little bit so that you guys can see. Until both of those numbers reach that particular spot, it will not activate or it will not close out until both numbers cross that threshold. Okay, guys, with that is 6 o'clock. So that is going to be the end of our trading session for this morning. I hope you guys enjoyed your session here with the Billionaire Bosses.